And this is coming from Keen Bean Studio, which also created the game Roll Camera, which is a game that I've been wanting to add to my collection for a while now, but it's difficult to find in Canada. But they are branching off into some new territory here because this game is completely different than that one, because this one is a competitive game and this one is also a trick-taking game. And this one takes a fun spin on the genre because not only does it introduce a bunch of unique mechanisms, but also has a really fun theme as well, because in this game players are actually different appliances competing for power. And of course you're going to be gaining that power through winning tricks and backdoor politics, and then spending that power in order to build up different sections of your monument, and the first player to complete their monument is going to be the winner of the game. And the way that all of this works is that the game plays over a series of rounds, and at the start of each round, players are going to be drawing up a hand of cards, and then using those cards to play through a series of tricks. At its core, the trick-taking in this game does work very similar to your traditional trick-taking game, where one player is going to be leading with a suit, and then all players are going to have to match that suit if they're able to do so, but if they're not able to, they can play any card from their hand that they like. And of course there is that one suit that is going to be acting as trump, and in this case it is the red cards. But what makes the implementation of trick-taking in this game a lot different is that all the other players know exactly how many cards you have in each suit, because they can just see it on the back of the cards in your hand. Except there is also one other suit, which is the black colored cards here, and this is known as the spy suit, and this is going to be disguising itself as one of the other colors. And this is nice because it can throw off your opponents, but of course if they do play a particular colored card and then see that in your hand but then you don't play it, they're going to have a pretty good idea that that card is a spy card, but maybe at that point it's already too late. But another great thing about having these spy cards is that they are actually ranked higher than a trump card, so long that another trump card is played, because if you play the spy card and no trump card is played, then the lead suit still does rank higher than it, unless it was played as the lead suit, which is something that you can do to try and fish out the other spy cards in your opponent's hands. So you can already see how these small changes to the system are already adding a bunch of fun new decisions. And the changes don't stop there, because whichever player plays the lowest valued card into a trick is actually going to be able to take an additional action, and this is going to be taken on the power board. And one thing I want to point out about what I just said is that it's the lowest card within that trick, which means that if you played a trump card or a spy card that won the trick, but then also happened to be the lowest value in that trick, you can actually win the trick and then still get this bonus action. And what this action allows you to do is to manipulate the power on the power board. And the way this power board works is that there's going to be a bunch of different characters on this board, and there's always going to be two of them that are connected through this fun little power cable. And when you get access to this board, you'll get to decide which of these two characters is going to be losing a power token and giving it to the other. And then you also get to move one of the ends of the power cable to one of the other characters out on the board. The reason this is important is because each player is going to be dealt a card at the start of each round, and it's going to dictate which of those characters you want to have with the most power and which of those characters you want to have with the least power at the end of the round. So having more access to the power board means that you get to try and shift things in your favor. A really neat thing about how this works is that there's also a push your luck element here as well, because on your turn you can actually choose to reveal this card at any point within the round, and the earlier you do that within the round, the more points you can potentially get from that card if you're able to achieve either of those two objectives or even achieve them both. But if you haven't revealed that card by the time that you have just 4 cards left in your hand, then you can no longer reveal the card for the rest of that round, and instead you can only achieve those points if you're able to fulfill both of those conditions, which turns it into a all or nothing scenario. Players will be getting dealt new cards as well as a new agenda card at the start of each round, but between each round players will be able to spend any points that they earned in order to build up their monuments, and the game just continues like this until a player is able to fully build out their monument and they win the game. And if you are interested to check this one out, I will have it linked in the description down below.